What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for MLB Sunday, June 26th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's MLB slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 9-game slate today, so let's take a look at the pitcher position. So the stud on the slate is Shane McClanahan. He's pitching against the low salary batting team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Shane McClanahan giving up a .651 OPS versus righty batters, facing 4 righties here today. No pitches versus the Pirates, and Shane McClanahan is $11,400 FanDuel salary, $1,100 less on DraftKings. He's been on fire this season, averaging 45 fantasy points per game on the season, has an ERA of 1.81, record is 7-3, pitching an average of 89 pitches per game. And Vegas thinks this is going to be a low-scoring game. Only 6 runs scored in this game. That's their over-under. So I like Shane McClanahan here versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now I also like Dylan Cease and Joe Ryan, but I think I just prefer to pay up for Shane McClanahan. He hasn't seemed to cool off. He scored 43, 40, and 61 fantasy points in the last 3 games. But if I was going to go with another pitcher here, I guess it would be Dylan Cease. He's giving up a .636 OPS versus righties. He's facing 7 righties here tonight. And Dylan Cease, the Orioles have only hit 3 of his last 13 pitches. Small sample size, so we can throw that out. Dylan Cease is $10,500 FanDuel salary, $900 less on DraftKings, averaging 38 fantasy points per game on the season. He's also been on fire, scoring 55, 45, and 38 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He has an ERA of 2.68, record is 5-3, pitching an average of 96 pitches per game. So I like Dylan Cease here versus the Baltimore Orioles. Okay, let's take a look at the catcher first base position here. I like Ji-Man Choi with a 45% batting advantage over Ronzi Contreras. Ji-Man Choi batting a .826 OPS versus righty pitchers. Ronzi Contreras pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 48% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.167 OPS versus switch hitters. Ji-Man Choi is $3,200 FanDuel salary, $700 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .285, so I like Ji-Man Choi here versus Ronzi Contreras. Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching. If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal, all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won. And then we'll send you $25 PayPal. So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you. Okay, let's take a look at the second base position. I like Tommy Edman with a 8% batting advantage over Alec Mills, a low salary pitcher Alec Mills. Tommy Edman batting a .707 OPS versus righty pitchers. Alec Mills, he is pitching his worst ball versus switch hitters, 20% worse than his other pitches, giving up a 1.092 OPS versus switch hitters. And I like this pick because Tommy Edman is 7 for 9, batting a .778 batting average and a 2.166 OPS versus Mills. He's $3,200 FanDuel salary, $1,500 more on DraftKings, averaging 11 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .274, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games. So I like Tommy Edman here versus Alec Mills. I also like Nolan Gorman with a 20% batting advantage over that low salary pitcher Alec Mills. Nolan Gorman batting 9% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .776 OPS versus righties. Alec Mills pitching 11% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .926 OPS versus lefties. Maybe a good opportunity to stack some bats here versus Alec Mills. Nolan Gorman, $3,200 FanDuel salary, $1,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, has a batting average of .255. So I like Nolan Gorman here versus Alec Mills. Okay, let's take a look at the third base position. So we got a stud pick here. I like Rafael Devers. He's got a 10% batting advantage over Aaron Savall. Rafael Devers batting 17% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .992 OPS versus righties. Aaron Savall giving up a .778 OPS versus lefties. Rafael Devers is $4,100 FanDuel salary, $2,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 13 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .330. So I like Rafael Devers here versus Aaron Savall. Now I also like Jake Burger with a 9% batting advantage over Jordan Lyles. Jake Burger batting 16% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .844 OPS versus righties. Jordan Lyles giving up a .812 OPS versus righties. No at-bats versus Lyles yet. Jake Burger only $2,800 FanDuel salary, $1,300 more on DraftKings, averaging 9 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5 games, has a batting average of .258. So I like Jake Burger here versus Jordan Lyles. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the shortstop position. So I like Xander Bogaerts here versus the low salary pitcher Aaron Savall. I think he's in a good spot. They're pretty good splits here. And he's $3,500 FanDuel salary, $1,800 more on DraftKings. But I also like Carlos Correa with a 37% batting advantage over Ryan Feltner. Carlos Correa batting a .840 OPS versus righties, and Ryan Feltner pitching 35% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a 1.057 OPS versus righties. There's no at-bats versus Feltner yet. Carlos Correa is $3,300 FanDuel salary, $2,200 more on DraftKings, averaging 10 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .300. So I like Carlos Correa here versus Ryan Feltner. Okay, moving on to the outfield position. A home run hitter. This guy's hit 27 home runs so far this season. I like Aaron Judge with a 34% batting advantage over Jose Urquidy. Aaron Judge batting 10% better versus righty pitchers, giving up a .979 OPS versus righties. Jose Urquidy pitching his worst ball versus righty batters, giving up a .818 OPS versus righties. And there's no at-bats versus Urquidy yet. Aaron Judge is $4,200 FanDuel salary, $2,100 more on DraftKings, averaging 15 fantasy points per game on the season. He has a batting average of .295, so I like Aaron Judge here versus Jose Urquidy. Now, I also like Adolis Garcia with a 76% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, Jackson Tetrault. Adolis Garcia batting 18% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .810 OPS versus righties. Jackson Tetrault pitching 58% worse to righties as he does lefties, giving up a 1.138 OPS versus righties. Adolis Garcia is $4,000 FanDuel salary, $1,000 more on DraftKings, averaging 12 fantasy points per game on the season. He's been on fire, scoring fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .257, so I like Adolis Garcia here versus Jackson Tetrault. I also like Ian Happ, and I like Jarren Duran, and I also like Andrew Benintendi with a 35% batting advantage over a low-salary pitcher, James Caprillion. Andrew Benintendi batting 10% better versus righty pitchers, batting a .783 OPS versus righties. James Caprillion pitching 25% worse to lefties as he does righties, giving up a .888 OPS versus lefties. Now, Benintendi is 0 for 3 versus Caprillion, but he's only $2,900 FanDuel salary and only $400 more on DraftKings, averaging 8 fantasy points per game on the season, scored fantasy points in all 5 of his last games, has a batting average of .299. So I like Andrew Benintendi here versus James Caprillion. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.